Number 12 is in.
Cover One, the NFL Draft Podcast. Welcome to another edition. I am Russell Brown, and alongside me, as always, Brad Kelly. We've got a very special guest today joining us for a player interview, edge rusher out of Wisconsin, Garret Dooley. Really looking forward to speaking with Garret regarding the Combine, the Senior Bowl, and really this whole draft experience for him. But before we get into the interview, I do need to let you guys know that Cover One has a brand new app out there on your mobile phone, on your smartphone devices, whatever it is that you have. You need to go and download it from Google Play, your App Store, wherever it is. It's simple. Search Cover One, and then all you got to do is click download. It's a very simple download, and then from there on out, we've got you covered for every film breakdown that you need or want, X's and O's, prospect rankings, scouting reports, mock drafts, a ton of draft content, and other football content from the guys and the crew over at Cover One. It's simple. Just go to your App Store, Google Play, whatever it is, on your smartphone, mobile devices, and download the brand new Cover One app. And joining us now, edge rusher out of Wisconsin, Garret Dooley. Garret, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. And Brad, how you doing over there?
I'm excellent. Get ready for the game that's later tonight. Looking forward to it and just kind of hanging out until then.
Yep, good old March Madness. Are you a basketball fan at all, Garret?
A little bit. You know, I usually like to pay attention to Wisconsin basketball. They were a little down this year, but no, I always get involved with the March Madness stuff. My bracket was busted a little bit earlier though, so it's been a little. I haven't really paid much attention the last few days.
Yeah, we had a couple of episodes of the podcast where we were pretty much into the brackets like religiously, and yeah, brackets are busted for sure. But you're going through the drafts experience, man. You're doing the dream. The Combine has just recently passed, and I first saw you down in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and that's really kind of where I want to kick things off. That whole experience for you, for Brad and I, that was our first time down there as well. And just getting to see you guys up close and personal and getting to talk to you guys after practices and stuff. It was really like just a humbling experience. And you were a guy that stood out to me right away because the first day I was watching edge rushers and defensive tackles and stuff. And I'm watching you and I'm like, who is this guy? You know, looking fluid, looking like an athlete. And I thought you looked really good going through certain bag drills and doing certain things. And really, how was that whole experience down in Mobile?
Yeah, you know, it was cool. A little overwhelming the first couple of days when you get there. I mean, it's basically a free-for-all at the hotel, you know. You got hundreds of scouts there, coaches. So it was definitely I was a little taken back at the beginning. But once you kind of got into the flow of things and, you know, started to play some football, then it was basically just – kind of what you've been doing for your whole life. You just got to go out there and showcase what you're about and show that you're able to play with some of the best players in the country. So it was great to be a part of it. And you know, I definitely recommend if anyone gets a Senior Bowl invite to accept that. It's a great experience, and you should. It's great to be able to hang around those type of guys, especially guys who you competed with over the years. You know, I was in the same meeting room with some of the Ohio State guys, so that was cool getting to know them. And no, it was fun.
Garret, as far as your roles down there, we talked to some players who were taking on new roles that they weren't used to, whether it be scheme or maybe calling the defense. Did the Senior Bowl coaches ask you to do anything that you had not done at Wisconsin? Were you comfortable with everything that they asked you to do, even as far as like special teams or the position that you played on defense?
Not really. I mean, some of the special teams that we did, there was different techniques that I hadn't done before, but I like to think I'm a pretty quick learner, so I think I was able to catch on to that stuff rather quickly. And then, I mean, for the most part, I was an edge rusher there. Obviously, I played outside linebacker at Wisconsin, but I've done my fair share of dropping in coverage and playing off the ball. I came in as an inside linebacker to Wisconsin, so I've played in the middle before. But so I was kind of able to bounce around a little bit at the Senior Bowl. I was able to do, you know, one-on-ones with running backs and work some flat drops and that kind of stuff. So I was able to showcase a little bit what I was about, and so I think it was a good experience.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question as far as operating in space and dropping into coverage. It was something I noticed you did quite frequently. I watched, obviously you against Ohio State, and I would see you, look like you're blitzing off the edge and you would drop into flats. I mean, are you really comfortable doing that consistently throughout a game, or are you more of a guy that you want to play up the middle, rush up the middle, or rush off the edge and strictly do that?
No, I'm very comfortable dropping into coverage. Obviously it's a little bit more fun when you get an opportunity to go sack the quarterback. So I mean, if that's going to be my job for the play, I'm definitely not going to think twice about it. I'm not going to ask any questions, but no, I've had plenty of experience dropping and doing run fits as an inside linebacker. So I think one of the strengths that I have is being able to be versatile and be able to play both on the edge, off the ball, whatever it is. So I think that's one of my strengths, and that I think teams and coaches like about me.
Yeah, as far as the NFL goes, and speaking with NFL coaches throughout the pre-draft process, have they asked you about playing different positions or being that type of multiple player, moving all around the defensive formation, or if they kind of pegged you as just a one role type of guy?
A lot of different teams kind of have different philosophies about where I would play, depending on their defensive scheme, whether it's 3-4, 4-3, whatever. Some coaches see me as a Sam linebacker. Some see me as a 3-4 outside when I played at Wisconsin. Some see me as a Mike. So it's a little bit different whichever team I talk to. But you know, even if I if they see me as an outside linebacker, they still ask. So if we were to ask you to switch to an inside, what would you think about that? And, you know, I would say that I'd love to. I've played it before and all that kind of stuff. So I just think just being able to have that versatility and tell them that I can play multiple spots is good for me.
You're definitely a versatile player, in my opinion. I think you do a really good job operating in space, dropping in coverage, and like you said, whether it's playing as a Sam or a Mike or just wherever, I think you do a really good job balancing the roles that you were given at Wisconsin, because, you know, you played with Vince, Jack, and TJ. Those are guys, obviously a loaded linebacker room and edge rushing room. What was it like getting to compete with those specific guys?
You know, it was cool to be able to play behind guys like Joe Schober, Vince Beal, and TJ Watt. It was a lot of fun being able to be in the same room as them and learn from them. I mean, they all have completely different personalities. Vince is a little bit more out there than the other two. I think if you know him at all, you'd be able to figure that out. But no, it was definitely a great experience for 2 years at being able to play with them. And I think a lot of the reason why I've had success is just because I was able to watch them and watch their techniques and talk to them about what they think about during games and practice and whatever. So I owe a lot of my success to them, and I know once I get to the next level, I'm gonna meet more guys with tremendous talent and experience, and I'll be able to learn a lot more from them as well.
As far as the combine went, that was a few weeks ago. You know, you had a very good broad jump and short shuttle at 10'1" broad jump and 4.28 in the short shuttle. Did that explosiveness, was that through training? Where did you train for the combine? Were there some of the events that you thought that you could have done better at? And as far as the combine experience goes, can you speak on how that was?
Well, the combine was cool. You don't really sleep as much as you would hope. So that part is definitely a little it's definitely a mental test of your mental toughness there. I think that they do or have the schedules made for you so that they can kind of figure out who's gonna shine and be able to, you know, stay focused during that whole process. You know, you're going through all these medical exams. You feel like a piece of meat. You got multiple people tugging at different limbs. So that's something that I'm not really used to. But no, talking about some of the drills, I trained down in Dallas at Michael Johnson Performance. Loved it down there. I thought it was a great place and loved the people that I trained with. But I definitely think that they helped with that explosiveness. I only did the one rep of the short shuttle there, and I actually didn't do I didn't do the 3-cone or the 60-yard there, because by the time I got to all those drills, I was completely gassed. So I wanted to wait till the pro day when I was a little bit more had a little bit more energy in the tank, and actually improved my short shuttle there too. So it was definitely good. And combine it's great to get the invite. and it's definitely an experience that I'll never forget.
When you were at the Combine and the Senior Bowl, obviously you talked with probably a million people, it seems like, and a ton of teams. What were some of the teams that were showing the most interest at you, whether it be at the Senior Bowl or the Combine?
You know, a lot of the time it's kind of hard to gauge which teams are the most interested. I mean, when you're at the Senior Bowl, you go through all the basic interviews, and you go through it with every single team. You know, just your background, what weight you came at from high school, and your weight progression, and you talk about your grades and all that kind of stuff. And then you talk to some of those teams that you didn't get to at the Senior Bowl at the Combine. So a lot of it is the basic stuff, and then you can kind of tell. You know, I talked with multiple linebacker coaches at the Combine, Tampa Bay, New York, Dallas, Green Bay, that kind of stuff. So I think just being able to talk to those coaches and have them show interest in you is definitely something that boosts your confidence a little bit. So those are some of the teams that I was able to speak with and had great meetings with, and I'm sure I'll be able to speak with more as the process is going on.
Throughout the process, we've heard that some players get asked, you know, pretty far out questions, whether it be about just non-football related or even if they're funny. We've seen players asked if they're like a Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings guy. Were you asked any questions that are kind of out there, or maybe even ones that are like kind of funny or about your personality?
There were definitely a couple. The only one that comes to mind, I mean, it was a mental grind, so I'm surprised I even remember this question, is if I would rather be a cat or a dog. That was one of the questions I got.
What was the answer?
I said a dog because, I mean, they're usually more lovable, and they're a lot more loyal. I mean, cats just kind of do their own thing, and they just, yeah. I mean, they're more solo on their own, so that's why I kind of picked a dog.
That's awesome. Moving away from the Combine and the Senior Bowl, I want to get to some questions. Nothing like cat or dog, but pregame music. Okay, you got the aux cord. What are we listening to before the game? Before football games and when I'm working out, I'm a big fan of the heavy rock type deal. Okay. You know, Five Finger Death Punch, Disturbed, all that kind of stuff. That's basically what I'm listening to before I go play a game. Absolutely. And pregame rituals. Is there anything like do you have to wear the same socks, same underwear? What's the whole pregame ritual? Everybody's got one.
I mean, I wore like throughout high school. I wore the same undershirt. Throughout college, I wore the exact same undershirt for 5 years. I mean, other than that, you know, I have the same playlist, which songs in a row I listen to. I'm not anyone who's, you know, I'm not going to wash my socks or any of that kind of stuff. I don't like that. That kind of grosses me out. But no, I like to, I mean, I eat the same foods and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty basic on the pregame ritual stuff.
Garret, what are the tattoos of on the left arm? Are they do they have any significance? Can you talk about what the designs are?
Yeah, all of them except for one actually have significance. The one I have on the top, it's on my shoulder, is the bald eagle with the American flag. That was the first one I got a few years ago, and that one was just respect for our country, the military. You know, I'd wanted a tattoo for a while, so that was the first one I got, and then decided to expand last spring, and I got an anchor on my bicep with my family's initials around it. The anchor stands for strength and stability, so that's kind of what the initials, it ties it all together. On my forearm, I have a version of my dad's dog tags from when he served in war. On my tricep, I have a Celtic knot from my Irish heritage. And then on the back of my forearm, I have a skull wearing an army helmet with a bullet hole in it. And that's the one that doesn't have any meaning. It was just, I was getting all my tattoos, and, you know, me and the artist, I came up with a bunch of designs. We thought it looked good. And there was one more empty space we needed to fill. And I asked him, I was like, well, what do you think would look sweet that kind of goes along with, you know, the rest of this kind of stuff? And he drew it up for me, and I loved it. So now it's on me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I've got to ask it because the off-season hobbies, right? Like right now, OBJ all over the place with what he's doing. He's wilding out over in like Paris or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Former Wisconsin Badger, DeAndre Levy, I know of him pretty well, Detroit Lion. He was spending off seasons, parachuting out of planes and standing on top of planes. And then, Joe Thomas, he's a fisherman, outdoors kind of guy. What's some off-season hobbies for you that, you really get into?
Well, once I get the money, I would love to go travel. I've been talking about it for a long time, and the first place I want to go to is Ireland. Like I said, the Celtic knot on my tricep. I would love to go see where my family came from. I heard Ireland's beautiful, and so I definitely want to go and travel Europe, wherever. But right now, and up in Wisconsin, my off-season hobbies, when it's nice out, I like to golf a lot. When it's during the summer, I golf a pretty good amount. And then I like to go hang out at the lake in Wisconsin. If I get the opportunity to, I'll go fishing and hunting. I'm not big into it, but I'll never turn it down. And then during the winter, especially since really the only thing to do in Wisconsin in the winter is drink, I play a lot of video games.
You play Fortnite? Is that the game right now?
It was the game for a solid 3 months. I still play it now, but I'm also big in MLB The Show.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a big baseball fan.
What's your baseball team you root for?
St. Louis Cardinals.
Nice. Now, are you MLB The Show? You're a PS4 guy then, right?
I actually just switched to PS4 in November, I think is what it was.
All right. So now you were a 4-star recruit coming out of Illinois. Why did you choose Wisconsin? What were some of the offers that you were considering, and then you just chose Wisconsin?
So my recruiting process was only 2.5 weeks long. I was the first recruit of my class at Wisconsin, or not the first commit. And I just, whenever I went up on the visit, I was completely taken back by the campus, the scenery. If you've ever been to Camp Randall before, it's unbelievable, the game experience that you see there. And my parents have always pushed academics on me, so that was definitely a big part of it. And I wanted to get out of Illinois, but be close enough to where I could go home and see my family, and they could come up and see games. So that's only about 3.5 hours away, and so it was basically a no-brainer for me. I was thinking about Penn State, Vanderbilt. I got offered by Illinois, but they were never really in my top, just because, like I said, I kind of wanted to get out of Illinois a little bit. But yeah, I thought it was a pretty easy decision. My dad wanted me to commit on the spot when I first got my offer. So yeah, it was an easy decision for me.
Yeah, I think you made the right call, man. You were a pretty talented player there, and as a Michigan State Spartan alum myself, I got to watch you a pretty good deal because watching the Big Ten pretty religiously in my house. So, we're 24 days away from the draft. Is everything kind of staying together right now, or are you starting to get really nervous?
I try not to think about it. There's been a couple of times where I've laid there and didn't really have much on my mind, and it kind of crept into my thoughts a little bit, and I do start to get nervous thinking about it. So for these next few weeks, I'm just trying to, just work out and relax and enjoy this. Not necessarily time off, but just time to relax and see the family and that kind of stuff, so that when the time comes for me to leave, it's just I didn't have any regrets about working too hard and not being able to see the people that I like hanging around with. So just trying to cherish the moments right now. But I know whenever the draft starts, I'm going to be an anxious wreck. So I'm glad I'm able to relax and enjoy myself right now. So
I have one more question for you, Gary. Can you give an elevator pitch to me if I was an NFL GM in about 1 minute? Why teams should take a chance on you as opposed to some of the other guys in the class?
Well, something I always tell coaches, and I tell everyone this, is that I've always been a guy who's flown under the radar, whether it be just I didn't start until my senior year of college, and I've been a guy who my hard work and dedication has gotten me to this point, and it's been something that I've always leaned on. I'm a person who never going to have to worry about. I'm always going to be late. I'm never going to have any off the field issues, and I'm someone who's going to bring relentless effort and energy to every practice, every game, whatever it is. I'm a guy who, no matter what, is always trying to learn, always bringing in more knowledge about the game, and I've definitely grown as a leader over the last couple of years, and there's still a lot more room for me to improve. And I see myself being a guy who can have that long veteran career in the NFL, become a starter, become a leader, and just be an all-around great asset to the football team.
Sounds great, man. That's all we've got for you, Garret. Really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. And 24 days from now, hopefully everything happens for you and falls into place on draft day and over that weekend. Wish you all the best, man, and hopefully we can talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys having me.
And that was Garret Dooley, edge rusher out of Wisconsin. That was a great interview. He's fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing him get drafted. And I think he's got the ability to get drafted. So it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to listen back on this and kind of see where he is right now. And then in a couple of weeks to see him get drafted and see where he is then. As for Brad Kelly, as for our guest, Garret Dooley, I am Russell Brown, and this is Cover One, the NFL Draft Podcast.